Hey everybody, it's me, Jenny, all by myself here in the intro for this 30th anniversary broadcast of episode 14 of My So-Called Life on the Wagon. This is the first episode in a while that didn't make me say, is this the best episode of My So-Called Life? Although there's a lot that I really like about it. Um, there's some maybe just like a little bit left out of the sauce or something. But the things that really, really had me screaming, um, I love seeing all these boys yelling at each other at band practice. That really got me. I was so bummed watching Amber once again sort of not hear her daughter or not, be available or have the capacity to really respond to Rayanne as, I don't know, I guess the parent figure you hope someone would be as you're watching this show. Speaking of parents, watching Patty first try to work up the power and the conviction that she's allowed to talk to Amber about parenting. That conversation between Patty and Graham is really fun. But then, unfortunately, it results in us having to watch Patty talk to Amber about parenting, and I just want to crawl right out of my skin. Right out of my skin. Thankfully, Patty is redeemed when she and Rayanne become best friends at the end of the episode. Love, love, love that. I also love that Ricky shows up to Rayanne's audition for the band formerly known as Frozen Embryos, which is them playing at an open mic at a coffee shop. And he's wearing a full suit, kind of looking like he might be about to appear as an extra in the background of a scene of Dick Tracy. I love it. The thing that really makes me feel like this episode sort of gets a hand back around the thread of the soul of the show, like what the show is that all episode long, while you're cringing and peering through your fingers and holding your breath and experiencing secondhand embarrassment, and you're also watching Rayanne act like she's going to have a drink. Like I feel like you spend the whole episode in suspense thinking like, is this when it's going to happen? This is when it's going to happen. When is it going to happen? And you think you're out. You think you've made it. You think you're safe. You think Rayanne is going to stay squeaky clean like a rubber ducky. But then she does have a drink, and it's not because she is overwhelmed by the prospect of like trying to sing in a public setting, or that while doing that she's feeling like unsupported by Angela or like unheard by her mother or any of those things. Like it's not this like sort of cause and effect simple linear thing that I feel like you would see, that you've seen like a million times in a million shows. And because My So-Called Life is not like any other show, this choice is made not at a low point, not at her darkest hour does Rayanne sort of like give back in to her demons, but in a moment of joy, safety, spending time with like her besties, back in their loving embrace, all is well, everything's fine, and then we get this sort of dark note where she gives in, not because things are terrible, because that's not the sum total of how something like this works. It's not that simple. Spoilers for the Babadook, but it's like the Babadook, I think, maybe. It's not that what Rayanne is fighting is like only going to come for her when she's at her worst. It's something that's going to always be in the back of her mind, always going to be haunting her. And I think it's so smart and so interesting that the show chooses to have Rayanne take a drink again not when she is in acute pain or emotional distress, but on a night that could be any other night, on a good night. And it's just another one of those things that makes this show really special. But you don't have to take my word for it. 2 incredibly qualified professionals are about to tell you everything. So please go and be with Kristin Russo and Joanna Robinson as they discuss On the Wagon.
Hi, I'm Kristin Russo.
Hello, I'm Joanna Robinson.
And we are staring into each other's eyes because we are recording together for the first time on this podcast ever.
In the history of this, in the long weeks-long history of this podcast, this is our first in-person recording session.
Yeah. And if you're wondering where you are right now, you are listening to The Boiler Room, which is a podcast that Joanna and I do where we talk about every episode of My So-Called Life, one episode at a time, spoiler-free. We're up to episode 4. Where are we? What's the number? 14?
Oh, that is the one piece of information I didn't copy over. 14, yes. This episode is called On the Wagon. It is directed by Jeff Perry, who we already mentioned on a previous episode, plays Mr. Katimsky.
Right.
So directed the episode, written by Elizabeth Gill, and it first aired on December 8th, 1994.
Wow, just 9 days before my 14th birthday. 9 days before I turned 14.
So I'm going to enter your birth date in my calendar right now so that I remember.
It's December 17th.
Uh-huh. Isn't that D-Day? Or Pearl Harbor Day?
I think it's
Pearl Harbor.
Yes,
yeah,
it
Pearl
is.
Harbor Day.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really good friend growing up who had that same birthday, and that's how I remember it.
It's a common birthday.
What's
December
the
17th.
subtraction math on that?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to look it up while we're talking.
Now I get to watch you look up things while we talk.
Uh-huh.
So I accidentally, every time I tried to look up this episode, I was like, My So-Called Life, off the wagon. And I couldn't, and I kept being like, why can't I find it? Oh, because it's on the wagon.
Yes.
But it's not. I mean, it is.
It is
98% of the episode, Rayanne is on the wagon. Which is a phrase I probably should have looked up, and I didn't. Do you know where it originates from? That, like, if someone is sober, they say on the wagon? Yeah, I don't know that either. You have a lot of research ahead of you, Joanna.
I'm a lot of Googling.
So Rayanne is 33 days sober.
Uh-huh.
And you know what's interesting is that Winnie Holtzman is in this episode again as the sort of like drug counselor.
Yeah.
But she's not credited. Like when you go on IMDb and you look at Winnie Holtzman's page, it says that she's in one episode of My So-Called Life.
Right.
And when you go to this episode, she's not listed at all.
Right, because I remembered you saying like she's only in one episode, but I had watched ahead, and not this episode, but another episode that's future, and she's a big part in that episode.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that trivia is wrong. I mean, we're finding a lot is wrong about the IMDb trivia of My So-Called Life, right? So the old Mercedes McNabb situation strikes again.
Mercedes McNabb not in My So-Called Life. Winnie Holtzman in multiple episodes of My So-Called Life. But yeah, she's basically bummed for good reason. Yes, Joanna. Now I can see that you have had a realization. What is your realization? What did you find?
On the wagon refers to it's disputed. It's one of those old phrases that a lot of people are like, there's a lot of reasons why.
Sure.
But perhaps the most common one says it derives from prisoners who are on their way to jail on the back of a wagon.
Oh.
Like enforced sobriety because you're on the way to prison.
Because you're on your way to jail.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. That checks out.
Oh, Patty, he's on the wagon.
Patty was like a double play.
The Patty wagon.
The Patty. Okay. I'm not going to try to accent around you.
I'm not good. I'm like David Boreanaz in
Maybe
Buffy
it's
Vampire
just your
Slayer
commitment, like your willingness. Do you like to do karaoke?
No. It's funny. I love to sing.
But not karaoke.
No.
Because I hate karaoke. For myself, I'm happy to watch it, but I feel that it's that I have some boundaries around vulnerability that are really, speaking of David Boreanaz, very Angel of me in the series Angel, where he's like singing is just not a thing I do in public. It's like, and so I feel like that connects for me of like, I don't do accents a lot, like fully, because I'm like embarrassed. Like I get embarrassed before I begin.
I mean, I do them around like friends and on podcasts where people can't see me, but I don't like go around in public doing things. And it's so funny because I was sitting here and I was like, oh shit, we've got so off topic. But then I was like, no, performing in public, karaoke, anxiety, vulnerability. That's what this episode's about.
On it.
We're right on target.
Listen, so what Joanna is referencing is, of course, that Rayanne wants to be the lead singer of Between Names. And she freezes, and we'll get there chronologically, I'm sure. But what I want to know is, because you've done some performing in your life, and have you ever had this experience where you go blank?
No. A thing that's true about me is if I had to perform, I can get like incredibly nervous right before, but once I'm on stage, I sort of get, I don't know, my brain shuts off sort of thing. Done a lot of theater, done a lot of like singing and stuff like that, and it's not a thing. How about you? Have you frozen?
I haven't frozen, but I have gone completely blank on stage a couple of times. But it's like and I think that like later in life, I had anxiety attacks, and I connect those anxiety. Like I was probably having like tiny anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
Didn't happen often because I got my undergraduate degree in theater. I had a theater company. Like I've done a lot of theater. Did you not know that?
Hello.
Yes, I'm a performer. But when I
had a theater company,
I did. It was called the Glass Cage Theater Company.
What?
In New York with my friend Megan.
Wow.
But yeah,
we're gonna talk about that.
So one of the first plays, it was the second play I was ever in, was The Crucible, and I played Mary Warren. And I had a moment on stage, and I recovered from it. I don't even remember exactly how I recovered, but like it was the first time that it ever happened on stage, and I basically forgot what my name was. Like, I didn't know where it was that blank. It wasn't just like, ooh, because, sometimes you forget your next line and you kind of have to root around for it, but you can kind of like whatever. This was like, I was blank and I did not know how I could possibly recover. And that moment like rooted for me because I would be terrified that it would happen again. It never happened that extremely on stage ever again, but it was so scary.
I was in a play called... It's an Ionesco play called The Bald Soprano.
Yeah.
And in that play, almost every character like tells a story. Mm-hmm. That's the premise of that play. Except for my character is the only character that doesn't tell a story. Mm-hmm. So one of we were performing it, and one guy in the scene like freaked out, blanked out, and then he just like, in a panic, decided to improvise, and and he was just like, why don't you tell us a story? He could have thrown to literally anyone else on the stage, but he threw to me, and I'm like, I'm literally the only person that doesn't work for.
Yes.
Yeah. So then I like just threw it. I was like, oh, I'll just throw to someone else. But I was like, literally, you could have pointed anywhere else on the stage and that would have worked.
He was having a total blank moment.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's just scary.
Yeah. So Rayanne.
Yeah, Rayanne. I mean, I guess we can just dig in there for a minute because...
Yeah.
I mean, so we talked about like Amba. Pretty featured in this episode, Amba Vallone. And in the Mother's episode, I think it was, or I don't remember, the one where Amber is like, I serve appetizers, and I kind of gave Amber some breaks that maybe I shouldn't have given her. And you were like, here's the deal. Like, probably not. And when I was watching this, I was like, okay, like this, because this is where they really pull it together and they show you that they were intending, of course, for you to feel the way that you, Joanna, felt.
Well, like about the appetizers, that it's like a withholding of some sort of like consistent, nourishing sort of love. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that she of course loves her daughter and she wants Rayanne to be happy, but she also, and we saw it a little bit when Rayanne brought up the money and her mom just like was not paying attention to that she does the same thing here where Rayanne brings up her drug counseling, her sobriety, and Amber is just like not there for it at all.
Yeah, it's tough but what's so great about this show is that this episode is incredibly complicated because I knew how it ended.
Right.
And I know, like you could ask certain questions like, why isn't Amber at Vertigo? You know what I mean? Like maybe she had a night shift or whatever, but like, why isn't she there, et cetera, et cetera. But there are other moments when Patty is like suspicious and critical and she's maybe not in the right. So it's complicated. Yeah. And that's why the show is so great. Because it's not like Amber isn't a flat out, terrible, abusive, neglectful person and Patty is this virtuous, perfect mother, it's really, really complicated.
Yeah.
Love the show. Guess
that
what?
butterfly shrimp looks good. I will tell you what.
Oh my God, she fed her like a little baby bird.
I know. And I was like into the whole thing and especially hungry in that moment. I was like, I would like to have a butterfly shrimp.
Dangled over my mouth
by Amba Balone.
Rainy. Butterfly shrimp.
I love a nickname for me carries so much love. Like when Amber calls Rayanne Rainy, when Rayanne calls Angela Angelica, it's just like, I want everyone to know that I don't usually get to see what's happening in the recording on Joanna's end, and her cat Bug, while I was talking, just climbed up the back of the chair, and maybe you heard that, just jumped off. Bug is like, can you pay attention to me? Bug is like the Danielle of the...
Yes. She's just smearing her face in chocolate sauce, basically.
Oh my God. Okay. I know we're like totally nonlinear, but that's just where we are. So there's an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, shocker, I know, that I'm going to reference the thing, but Michelle Trachtenberg, who plays Dawn, is like sitting around the table with like Xander and Anya, and she's eating chocolate ice cream, and she like looks up at Xander and she's like, I think he thinks I'm a woman, or whatever her inner monologue is, but the chocolate ice cream is like on her face in a way that could only happen if she had put her entire face in the bowl. Right. And it was what I thought of in the scene with Danielle, where Danielle has the chocolate sauce on her face, because it is
so much.
Yeah. It's really like, we could have seen if it was a smaller amount, but they really went for it.
And that's like a boiling pot of chocolate sauce. So Danielle is like smeared like boiling hot chocolate sauce on her face with, I guess, Grand Marnier in it. Anyway.
Okay.
So...
This is like...
this is a really bad Jordan episode.
Oh, it's a horrible Jordan episode.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think, very indicative of how a lot of my breakups were, like my first few breakups. I thought it was a gay thing, but maybe it's not. It's just like...
No, I've had this experience too, where like, you know, there are a couple parties at fault here, I think.
Sure.
Maybe a fault isn't even the way to talk about it, but it's just sort of like, Angela is hoping that, like, you know, we'll get back together.
Yeah.
And Jordan he's not like actively using her, but he's using her. You know what I mean?
Emotional. Like, he's using her emotionally.
I think a more mature person, which we would never accuse Jordan of being, would be like, okay, I'm breaking up with this girl because she won't have sex with me. So the least I can do is give her some space. And instead he is like extremely up in her everything. And she's very receptive of it because she's like, still has, you know,
she's feeding that baby bird, you know? Speaking of feeding baby birds.
Emotional butterfly shrimp. Yeah. Oh my God. Angela's like concerned support of Jordan this episode
it's a lot.
It's pretty hilarious.
It's also, there's a scene between them where, so, you know, Rayanne wants to be the lead singer in Jordan's band for many reasons. But the main one is that she misses Angela.
Yeah.
And so there's the scene where Jordan and Angela are having a conversation about that, like where Rayanne is already in the band. It's like in school right after she's in. And Angela's whole thing is like, I didn't mean to pressure you. I'm so sorry if I pressured you. And I was like, oh my God, this is like incredible, because the last episode of this show is called Pressure. We just talked about it. And it's Jordan is literally pressuring her to have sex with him. Angela has done nothing, barely suggested that Rayanne be the singer, and is like apologizing.
In my notes, it says in all caps, Angela worried that Jordan felt pressured. Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Oh man, very frustrating. And also like Angela's giving Jordan so much emotional support that he does not deserve. No. His problem here is very trivial. And in doing so, she's ignoring Rayanne, who needs a tremendous amount of emotional support right now.
Have you had this? So by this, I mean, have you fallen for someone and ignored the people that matter to you in your life?
Of course.
Right? This is like common...
No, I mean, like, it's very understandable. Yeah. It's just sort of like they're trying to show you a juxtaposition of like, it's like, you know, pearls before swine is a little harsh, but like Angela's just like, let me emotionally feed this fire right here and completely neglect this other fire in this moment of crisis.
Right.
So, but you can also understand like, when Angela is talking to Patty finally about like this distance she feels with Rayanne, and she's like, it's this unspoken thing since that night, stuff like that. You could understand that too, because like that's a really scary thing that happened, and you know, like I think we've all had those relationships too, where you you fall in love with a friend or whatever, and then you see something where you're like, I don't know if it's safe to love this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So,
totally.
Yeah. We are bouncing all over the place, but
I believe in our powers. But yes, what do you want?
I want to like zoom back to something at the beginning in Rayanne's counseling session.
Yeah.
They're talking about the oral fixation.
Yeah.
This was like something we talked about all the time as like teens.
Oral fixation. Do you think it's because most of us smoked? Like, do you think that
I didn't smoke and most of my friends didn't smoke. It's just something we talked about because I think it seems like somewhat dirty,
right? Oral,
but like clean but dirty at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you talk as a teen. I feel like a lot, and then I haven't said the phrase oral fixation in like a decade.
For me, and I did say it a lot too. And for me, it had roots in cigarettes. Like I don't know, and this is like this will underplay the fact that of course teenagers do get addicted to cigarettes, and I was getting addicted to cigarettes, but it was more like I was playing at it at a younger age, you know, like, I just like can't have a cigarette. So like I gotta have a piece of gum. Right. Like, do you really, Kristin, or are you being dramatic and like trying to be this like image that you want to feel you are? And I also probably wanted to be Rayanne. I definitely had always blow pops.
Did you?
And Tootsie Pops are really my preference between the two.
Which flavor of Tootsie?
Chocolate Tootsie Pop with a chocolate Tootsie Roll. My favorite.
Absolutely fucking disgusting.
What's yours?
Either blue or red.
Blue? I don't even know what blue tastes. Is it blue raspberry?
Listen,
you're like,
any of them
sugar.
Actually taste like
flavor
anything?
Is sugar.
That's why I didn't say what flavor because it's blue or red.
I don't know if it's
chocolate's
chocolate.
The worst, and then just like a hair above chocolate is orange, which is also incredibly bad.
The red I like. I do like the red one.
Blue and red, and then there was like a raspberry, right?
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because there was like a cherry red, and there was like a raspberry.
No, I like the darker red.
Yeah.
The darker red and the brown. I always go for the brown.
Oh my God.
Always.
Wow.
Chocolate.
Because like, I love chocolate, but like sugar candy that's supposed to taste like chocolate, that just sounded like bad and abnormal to me.
Yeah, you're right. When you say it like that, but I love it. I can't help what I love.
You know how on the Tootsie Roll Pop wrapper, there's like a Native American figure with a bow and arrow and like a star, and only some of them have the thing on.
Yes. Oh my God, Joanne, I forgot all about that.
And there was like an urban legend where like if you collect 10 or something like that, you can like send away for a free lollipop.
I just remember being really special if you got the star. Right?
I had, and like we need to look up like, you remember in the Brian Krakow episode when I was like, oh, that little safe in his room. We all had that little safe. Yeah. That little like rocks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Mine also had a massive stack of Tootsie Roll Pop wrappers that I had saved that all had the star on them over years and years and years and years and years. And then I like never did anything with it. Because like I don't know what I thought I was saving them
sitting
for.
on a fortune.
I know. I could have had at least like 10 free lollipops. I don't know. Like I think that was just like an urban legend.
The people that are like our age are losing their shit at this point in the podcast.
Right.
I would be losing my shit hearing people like dredge up these memories.
And then our Gen Z listeners, if we have any, are like, we're not addicted to cigarettes. We're addicted to Juuls. Get it right.
Yeah, they're like, what is a lollipop? Okay, so yes, oral fixation. And the counselor, Winnie Holtzman, is concerned. She says it's a dangerous time for Rayanne.
Right. I do like that she takes the lollipop from Rayanne.
Yeah.
Rayanne's like, you want a lollipop? And she's like, sure.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I thought the same thing. I was like, this is like a measure of trust, right? Like I would trust my teacher even more if they're like, I can be on your level and have a lollipop with you.
I was like, that was a good moment.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered some of the basics, right? Tino has left frozen embryos. Frozen embryos is really struggling with this. Rayanne is reaching out to Angela in the beginning, right? But like in this way that I know I am definitely guilty of doing this, where like I have a feeling, but I don't want to acknowledge the feeling, so I make a joke. And that's what Rayanne does a couple of times in this episode.
Always.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And it starts with her just being like, when am I going to see you again? I'm just kidding. But Angela fucking invites her over. Where the fuck is Angela? Is she with Jordan? Is that what we're to believe? They don't tell you explicitly. But
I was like, I was like, what was she doing? Just like sitting in his car and listening to him bitch about Tino? Like, where was she?
And like
on a weeknight? I was like, her not showing up as a like, and then she's like, later she's like, oh well, like I thought you said you weren't gonna come over, but I didn't see Rayanne say she wasn't gonna come over. I saw Rayanne be like worried about Patty.
Yes.
And then Angela says that thing where she's like, well, she's never home before 6 anyway, so like like Rayanne's her secret lover or something like that. I was like, this is bad friending from Angela.
Very bad friending. Very bad.
Bad friending because she's trying to withdraw in a way that she's not fully ready to admit, even though she's partially ready to admit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Something small that I would like to talk about is, so Rayanne is over at the Chase household, and Rayanne and Graham are having their bonding time.
I would watch their cooking show.
Yeah. Oh my God. Me too.
Rayanne and Graham in the kitchen.
Yes.
Graf and Graham.
She's doing
Graf and Chase.
Graf and Graham.
Graf and Graham.
Graf and Graham. She's doing a great job with the eggs.
Yeah.
Sorting the eggs. And Patty comes in, and this is what I would like to discuss briefly. With the grocery bags. Again, second time we've seen the grocery bag. The fuck grocery store did they go to where these bags have no handles?
It was the 80s.
Did the bags not have...
Sorry, 90s.
The bags didn't have handles in the 90s?
I think it started in the 90s, but like...
Incredible.
I do remember a time carrying bags of groceries up the stairs without handles.
Wow.
Absolutely. And we had like a lot of stairs in our house.
I'm upset about it because you can really only carry 2 at a time then.
No, if you get good, you can do like 3 or 4, and it depends how they pack them.
Like one on your head, and 3 in a hug.
Uh-huh.
But definitely a hug. You could probably get a third one.
It depends how tightly they're packed. But yeah, Patty comes in, and she just like clocks the Grand Marnier on the counter, which Graham was like undoubtedly using in the chocolate sauce.
Yes.
And she's just like, let me just move that over here. Do you want a soda pop? Here we go, sort of thing. And so like, she's being Patty, but she's not being like deeply shitty about it.
No, she's not. I mean, and she invites Rayanne to stay for dinner, which is really, I think, sweet and nice, especially since, her daughter is not there.
Yeah.
But then Rayanne sort of feels shitty, which we see in the next scene, right? It's like she sees this family.
Oh, it's so sad.
It is, because you can see the warmth in the room and
how she's on the outside of that.
Yeah.
And also Danielle, she like burps and Danielle's like, ew, you're supposed to say sorry. And so she feels like awkward and like blah, blah, blah. And she's talking to them a little bit about Jordan and Angela. And yeah, I'm so mad at Angela for not being there in that moment.
Me too.
Know? And then when Rayanne leaves, Patty goes, that girl never said thank you for saving her life, sort of thing. So.
Yeah. And so
then we immediately cut to a shot of Amber's margarita in the blender. So we have the contrast of Patty just being like quietly just removing the Grand Marnier, which is not drinking alcohol anyway, but just like quietly removing the liqueur from the situation. And Amber just having no sensitivity around what her daughter's struggling with,
Yeah, Amber has this sort of energy around Rayanne that it feels familiar to me, not because I've experienced it myself, but I feel like maybe I've seen like my friends, like I've seen this energy where her mom treats her like she is being dramatic about everything.
Right.
Amber is dramatic. Right, like she is
Rayanne is dramatic. Yeah,
Amber is dramatic.
Yeah.
And Rayanne is dramatic as well, but it's just like it's this thing where she doesn't know when to clock, which we saw in the OD episode, when something is not Rayanne being dramatic, when something is Rayanne really struggling. And so it's like her blending up this fucking margarita and not paying attention is her way of sort of being like, oh, her dramatic drug addict, alcohol, like please. Like it's like she doesn't buy it, which is, of course, incredibly dangerous.
Well, no, and especially since like she was in the hospital, what I mean? Like,
which of course you don't need to be like she should have gotten there even if Rayanne wasn't in the fucking hospital having OD'd. But
and then there's this other element that threads throughout this episode to remind us of how young Rayanne is. Yeah. This like Sesame Street thing.
Yeah.
Which is this habit of Rayanne's that she likes to watch Sesame Street every day. We're finding out in this episode for the first time.
Very
which is
cute.
Very cute. But it it reminds me of like when Angela calls Patty in the episode where Rayanne like ODs, she says mommy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like those moments when you're like really reminded, or there's just sometimes, like when you put Angela in overalls or
her raincoat.
Yeah. Like a reminder that these are young men and women that we're dealing with here.
And I think you would know more than me, but I was really appreciating how Sesame Street was threaded in. It's like Rayanne refers to herself like squeaky clean to Patty, like a rubber ducky.
Oh, yeah.
Then you go to Bert and Ernie. That's like in the background. There's just like a lot of different like little placements of it.
Did you hear it in the score?
No.
Yeah.
WG.
WG Snuffy put it in the score, like right towards the end. It might be earlier too, but I first heard it in the score right before the end of the episode. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very special. So we've talked about the butterfly shrimp, I believe, that Amba feeds Rayanne, and this scene is set up. And I think that the important, apart from the like parallel of these two households and two styles of parenting, like this scene is here to also have Amber say to Rayanne, join them. If like you feel left out, just get in there. Everybody loves you. Just like go and be a part of things, which on its face isn't the worst advice.
It's not the worst advice, but the real advice is like talk to Angela.
Yeah.
And also the fact Amber's reaction, this was really not like, I don't know. I don't want to abuse the phrase triggering, but like the thing that Amber does here when Rayanne's like, yeah, Angela and I are like, I don't know what's going on. And she's like, okay, what did you do?
Yeah.
That is something my mom did all the time, where it's like default assumption is like, you've done something wrong before I even explain what the premise of the conflict is or whatever.
Right.
And so
pretty
she's like,
fucked up.
So she's like, it's that like sort of poison milk thing where she's like offering comfort. She's like, pulls her in close. She's like, okay, what did you do this time? And you're like, ow, fucking ow. And just that messaging that kids internalize, you know what I mean? That like, obviously they've done something wrong every single time there's conflict. What did I do this time to fuck it up?
Right.
You know?
Like I'm bad, but my mom still like cares about me even though she knows I'm bad. Yeah.
So bad.
It is.
And then in that same sort of breath, she says, Angela's special. And I'm like, Rayanne is special. Like, be on your daughter's side.
Yeah.
That's the feeling you're missing of like Amber really being on her side truly.
Totally.
You know? So,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then in the next scene, Rayanne does what Amber suggests.
Yeah.
She gets in the car, and this is, you mentioned at the top of the episode that this is a horrible episode for Jordan. Jordan is a fucking asshole pretty much throughout the entire episode. He's either leaning on Angela and taking advantage of her, or when he's done with the situation, or if he doesn't want to like participate, he's straight up just like, get out of my car.
Could you leave? So fucking rude.
So, right. And it's just like his entitlement to, I want the thing the way, which is really, when you go back and look at the way he was with Angela, that was there, right?
Yeah.
He wants the thing the way he wants it. And if it's not going to be that way, he doesn't want it anymore. End of story.
Yeah.
And the fact that Angela, I get it. 'Cause like, I've been this person, I've been in a place where like, I have done whatever the fuck just to like get this person that I want to pay attention to me. Sure. But the fact that Angela really doesn't get to a point where she's like, hey, actually, fuck you, is a little, because she's been pretty strong.
It feels out of character because it's like, and we've all had moments where we're not like our strongest or whatever. But yeah, like, you know, in pressure, in self-esteem, and in the first time he tries to kiss her, like every single time she like, you know, eventually finds that like steel in her spine. And in this episode, she just doesn't, throughout basically.
Totally. So I guess that can be a call to that we all do fall down those holes sometimes.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I have really, really, really important question.
Yes, I can tell.
Danielle has a boyfriend named Ryan, but they're like keeping it cool and cash.
They're keeping it loose.
But like she had a boyfriend, Ryan. They're keeping it loose.
Danielle is like a gem that I have not discovered until this viewing, honestly.
Also, does she play hockey? Like
she does.
She plays hockey.
She fucking does.
She plays hockey. She's keeping it loose with her boy Ryan. She really wants Brian Krakow. That's who she really wants. She takes gymnastics, right, too? She's like, she knows.
She's great at dressing up for Halloween. She's like really
big Danielle fan. I would take Danielle over Dawn any day if I'm being honest.
Oh, wow. Dawn getting the burn even from over here in the boiler room land. Yeah, so you brought up hockey because she's leaving. And the scene where we learn that Danielle has a boyfriend, and Angela leaves first, and she's like, fuck off, Mom. Like, they're both just like, Mom, enough, like, whatever. Yeah. And Angela says, like, there are state laws as she leaves, which
about being late to school.
Yes, yeah, like, Mom, there are state laws, which is just like I don't know, there's a spot that Angela has in my heart, and that, like, is a part of the construction of Angela that I have in there. And Patty wants to meet Jordan. She still hasn't fucking met this guy.
And I will say, like, at the very least, for all that Jordan is, like, emotionally taking advantage of Angela in this episode, at least he's driving her to school.
Yeah.
Driving, Yeah. So.
But, like, is he driving her to school just because because Jordan doesn't talk for, like, 13 episodes, you know? And
this is the most he talks by far, right?
Right. It's like he found something in Angela, and he's taking the part that he would like and leaving the rest. And so that's why I'm like, yeah, he's driving her, but is he driving her because he's, like, stoked that somebody's going to listen to him talk about Tino? Like,
I mean, yes, but, like, at least she's getting a ride to school out of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, like, her locker open for her, I guess.
Yeah, I was
such a, like, it's such, like, an act of intimacy, and I'm just like, leave her alone.
It really did feel
unfair.
Of everything that happened in the episode, him opening her locker felt the most intimate.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ricky, because Ricky has, like, a whole thing happening in this episode. And it starts in almost the next scene. The next scene is, like, fucking in the car, and Jordan's like, Rayanne? So whatever. But then we go to Ricky, who's wearing this fantastic bandana. It's just so good. Ricky looks fantastic. And he's already trying to, like, manage her expectations.
Cushion that blow. He's also wearing, I think he's wearing a jacket that is a previous best use of flannel for me. This, like, blue and green plaid jacket that he has. But yeah, he's trying to be like, he's
maybe
packeting the bubble wrap around her, and he's like, let's just pre-cushion this blow for you. Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot. Ricky's whole arc in this is a lot. And we'll get there when we get there, but it begins here. And then so for the listener, Joanna has a very large smile right now because we're moving to the bathroom to your favorite duo.
Oh, Sharon and Rayanne in the bathroom.
Can we play this clip? Actually, can we play this sound clip?
How to get to Sesame Street. How to get to Sesame Street. What?
That was you?
So?
Nothing. You just you have a decent voice.
I'm sorry, did I say you could listen?
I'm sorry. I didn't know this was your private recording studio.
I'm sorry, it is.
Yeah, so Sharon has come into the bathroom to get something off her shirt, I think.
She's so messy.
Yeah.
She's like, her hair's fucked up one episode.
Sharon is forever, like, fixing something in the bathroom, but she is captivated by the siren song of Rayanne Graff singing Sesame Street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have, like, a little chat. It's not the steamiest chat they've ever had.
No, but it's just like, I mean, you know, they've been dating for a while now, you know, things are cooling off. Yeah. And but you know, Sharon basically tells Rayanne the thing that Rayanne really wants to hear, which is like, you have a pretty good voice.
You're good.
And, like, she knows Sharon's not going to be blowing steam. Like, she, you know, she's just like, well, if Sharon says I'm good.
Have you seen the film
Blowing smoke?
Blowing Smoke.
Sure.
Yeah. Have you seen the film 500 Days of Summer?
No.
Oh, okay. There's a moment where Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets up to sing karaoke at one point. It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel, right?
Okay.
Both actually beautiful singers.
Yeah.
And so there's a scene where both of them sing karaoke and they're both great. And so, like, he gets up there to sing Here Comes Your Man is what he sings. And he's great. And Zooey Deschanel has this moment. She's had some drinks. She has this moment where from the back of the bar, she goes, "You're good," while he's singing. It's a very Kristin Russo moment. I always think of, like, you when I think about it. It's just very like, "You're good." So that's kind of what Sharon gave Rayanne. Yeah.
A little nudge, a little support.
Yeah. You're good.
That is something I would do.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies just to see if you could save some cash? Well, Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Tom.
So big news to share, right?
Yes, huge, monumental, earth-shaking.
Heartbeat sound effect big. Mate is back.
That's right. After a brief snack nap.
We're coming back. We're picking snacks.
We're eating snacks.
We're rating snacks.
Like the snackologists we were born to be.
Mate is back.
Mike and Tom eat snacks.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Unless you get them from a snack machine, in which case, call us.
Call us.
I've got a homicide in Springfield's North Woods by mile marker 16.
You are now entering Springfield. Where's the body?
Off the side of the ditch down there. You know, surrounded by all this crime scene tape.
Hello? Am I dead?
My name is John. I'm the new forensic pathologist. I can see you, and that's how we'll figure out how you were murdered.
That means ghosts are real!
Since then, I've noted multiple additional missing case files and even missing bodies.
Let's say I believe you came across some record-keeping discrepancies and a string of deaths. You're not an investigator, Jonathan. Stop trying to be one.
After everything I've discovered, I just need to know why. What happened in Springfield?
Going somewhere, Dr. Spacer?
Listen to How I Died, a full-cast police and medical procedural podcast with over 40 episodes already available. Then, tune in to Season 4 of How I Died, releasing now on all podcast apps.
And the other thing that happens, of course, with the nudge from Sharon, she's like, I just don't understand why this, Rayanne has made up this fictitious story about this person, but Sharon knows she's talking about fucking Angela.
So this is you.
Yeah.
This is Angela.
Right.
Cool.
But Rayanne gets to this place where she's like, oh, maybe the reason she wouldn't push Jordan to let me be the lead singer is because she thinks I'll make a total fool of myself. Which is really the undercurrent for Rayanne. Later in the episode, she says, when she forgets the words and she runs off stage, she says something like, you were all just waiting for me to fail. Like, you knew I wasn't good. And this ties back to what you were saying about her mom. And, that her mom is, threading this message through of, you're not good enough. You're not as good as Angela. People don't expect as much from you. And this is, how it's manifesting.
Yeah. We see some Frozen, the band formerly known as Frozen Embryos are rehearsing. I will say this. A surprise thing we learned in this episode is that, Jordan is actually the responsible member of this band.
Yeah.
And he's like, can we get our shit together, please?
Right. He's like, stop fucking fighting.
Yeah. So, that's one thing he has going for him, which is nice. And, if music and his car are, the only thing that makes him feel, good and in control and valuable, then we can understand why he's preoccupied with this whole state of the band.
Yeah, I think that's fair
for so long. But I mean, it doesn't excuse a lot of his behavior. But I'm just sort of that at least is character consistent,
right?
It's not all of a sudden Jordan cares about this band. We've been hearing about Frozen Embryos for a while, and we've seen him play and stuff like that. So that tracks to me that he doesn't feel good, he's good at school. He doesn't feel comfortable at home, but here, he's good at this. And we see later he can sing as well, which why wasn't that the solution from the start? It's my question.
I know. Is he learning that he can sing in that moment? What's the story there?
Right. I feel like I was reading an interview. I don't know if it was with a singer who's in a future episode of this show or not. But someone was saying that Jordan, that Jared Leto would just hang out around, and it must have been that artist, but that Jared Leto at the time the show was happening was just hanging around and trying to learn guitar a lot. This is
this was really his start as a musician.
And we know that Winnie Holtzman used to take things from their real life and sort of thread it in. So maybe she saw that Jared Leto actually cares about music. Later, of course, he would front a band.
Right.
And so she put that in as like Jordan's passion, that and his car.
I think it's important that you brought that up because when we were talking about it and when I was even watching the episode earlier today, I was like, Jesus, Jordan, like enough with the Tino shit. But you're right. Like this is not as simple for him as like it feels to me watching it, that like it really is it likely goes deeper for him because it's one of the only things that he probably has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We find out this next bit of information is as stunning to me as the existence of Danielle's boyfriend, Ryan, which is that Jordan has never called Angela on the telephone.
Yeah.
So my question is like, how does he arrange that he's going to like drive her to school? Do they like talk about it the day before? And then he just like shows up?
It does seem Jordan doesn't like to make plans. So maybe Angela just never knows if he's going to pick her up.
And then she hears the horn. She's like, gotta go. Otherwise, what? I'm getting on the bus?
The bus?
I guess so.
Yeah.
All right.
With that bus driver that we met last week that calls Brian and Curly. So this scene where Jordan calls the house, and again, he's only calling because he has a need. He's not calling for any other reason. Rayanne is there. He's pissed. Whatever. Patty stays on the phone. It's so Graham and Patty's dynamic is getting better and better and better. Graham says like Patty, and then at one point after she hangs up, he's like Patricia.
Patricia, you surprise me. So good.
And her face is so good. Like, it's like guilty, but like, I had to do it.
Yeah.
And what she gleans, which this is a little stretchy for me, but she like hears that they're having beers and so automatically assumes that Rayanne is having beers, which I feel like is a little.
Well, he says, Rayanne Graff is here. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we're not even playing. Everyone is just sitting around and drinking, is what he says.
Okay.
So like, yeah, it's a little leap to a conclusion, but like, if I had a daughter who had a friend who had a drinking problem and heard that, I might, get a little concerned.
A little wiggly.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So then another theme in this episode is, and we've touched on it very briefly, but it comes up in Patty and Graham's bedroom where Patty is like, I should talk to Amber. And why is there this thing? Also, you're smiling because this scene is very hilarious.
It's so cute.
It really is. We've talked about Coach and Tammy Taylor. Yeah, this is very that.
I'm going to kill you. It's like 12:15. I mean, the Graham crackers, like, not every Graham episode is a treasure, but like this is a good Graham episode.
It really is.
And yeah, the line reading of like, I'm going to kill you. It's like 12:15 is incredibly good.
Also, Tom Irwin, that's the actor's name, right? His laugh, because they go back and forth. Like he turns his light on, then he turns it off.
Yeah.
She turns her light back on to like end the scene, and his laugh to her is like one of the most tender, sweet things of all time. Because he's just like, he's annoyed, but he's annoyed in this like, God, I fucking love you sort of way. It's so sweet. But they're having this back and forth about how to or not to get involved with other people's parenting, which is like, that's like a thing. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I know that's a thing.
It's a great like through this episode. And it goes back to what we were talking about before about it being incredibly complicated, where Patty's like, do you ever get involved? When do you get involved? And he's like, don't get involved. And she's like, I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to.
Right.
Other great things that Graham says in this scene. I love you too, and please shut up. And then Patty goes, so you want to make love, right? Which is like, that we're forgetting this like episode where Graham said they did not have a good sex life because once again, then she goes, close your eyes and be very, very brave. So good.
It really is.
Another thing he says, and this is a pop culture test for you.
Oh no.
He says, "Goodnight, Gracie." Do you know?
Oh,
do you know what that means?
So in my mind, but I think I might have the wrong show. But in my mind, it's from All in the Family. Is that the wrong show though? It's like
it's an old thing.
It's an old television show where it was like a.
It's George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Oh, so yeah, I'm laying that over.
Yeah.
What are the characters' names in All? Is All in the Family?
Yeah, All in the
Family.
Family.
With the curmudgeonly. Yeah.
Yeah. So George Burns and Gracie Allen were Burns and Allen were like a comedy, like a married couple comedy act or whatever. And he would go like, say goodnight, Gracie, and then she would go, goodnight, Gracie.
Right.
You know, so yeah, he goes, goodnight, Gracie. That's something that like I feel like it was in the water when we were young, like in the 90s and 80s and stuff like that, and it has like evaporated from people don't make that joke anymore.
No, now they say there's another I'm not gonna be able to think of it.
Okay.
But I'll try. I'll see if it comes to me.
Anyway,
I'll bring it back.
Great Patty and Graham content in this scene is the point.
Yes, fantastic. Patty and Graham content. Okay, so then comes the scene where Rayanne's in the band, right?
Yeah.
Angela feels shitty. Well. We talked about this. And then fucking Patty and Amber have this phone call. It's a lot of phone calls in this episode. It's more phone calls than we've had, I think, in any other episode.
Yeah.
And Amber is like already kind of over Patty. Like Patty doesn't even really get in too far. She's like, hi, I'm Patty. And she's like, I fucking know.
Yeah.
Just get to the point. Why are you calling me?
Yeah.
You know, which like, I get that. And they have this back and forth where Patty is essentially saying like, I think I know something about your daughter that you don't know. And Amber's like, well, you probably know about as much as my daughter as like, you know about your own daughter, which is like, we can't know everything. And so get off your horse.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. They both have legs to stand on, I think.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Rayanne's in practice. It doesn't go well. Jordan then says, like, we have this audition at this cafe called an audition with an audience. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. It's like an audition. And I'm glad you said that because I wrote audition. And then later I was like, did I write that down wrong? Because it was an open mic.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know what that's all about. But Jordan says, one of my least favorite things that Jordan says, which he just tells her to wear something tight.
Yeah. Which, yeah, again, also seems a little... I don't know. I guess we don't know Jordan very well. So it's not necessarily out of character. It's just we haven't really heard him.
He's not been objectifying women so far.
No.
Thus far.
Something very minor but very meaningful for me in this little quick scene with Jordan is that he is wearing headphones and they are like the metal band, the flimsy little,
foam. Yeah.
You can't see the foam, but you can see like he's wearing them like under his chin, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Remember those fucking headphones? They were awful.
Casio,
they never
whatever.
would stay on your ears.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Rayanne goes to Angela's. Angela can't go to the show. And then there's this like, Rayanne's been joking about her drinking for the whole episode, right? She's saying she's having a 6-pack. She fucks around with Angela by pouring the shot of whiskey, making Angela, which really is like a cry for, do you even fucking care? Like, it's like she wants to get the rise out of Angela because it's really the only time that she gets to see that Angela does care about what she's going through.
Right.
Leaving, of course, then this empty whiskey glass on the counter.
A little contrived. Yeah, I mean,
it is.
This is not my favorite episode, if I'm being honest.
No, I know. I actually thought that today. I was like, this is an episode where I think we will not say this is the best episode.
I think a lot of people are acting out of character in this episode.
Yeah, because it's. Do you think that it's because of the, like, that something happens to the episode because they're trying to give us an episode about Rayanne's alcohol usage, and like, do you think that like the messaging that they tried to put in is what watered it down, or just?
I don't know. This feels contrived to me that Rayanne would definitely pour a tumbler of alcohol to fuck with Angela. That's something she would do, but it feels super contrived so that Patty will jump to a conclusion and stuff like that. It's just like, it's just not as slick as the show usually is, I think. And so I'm not...
It also seems unnecessary because I think Patty could have jumped to any of these conclusions without there being a whiskey glass
like such a
on
trail
the bar.
of evidence or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is, I mean, not to like throw her under the bus, but this is the only episode that Elizabeth Gill is credited on. So, just like maybe this isn't her speed.
I think it's important that people have learned that we are able to say that an episode is not the best episode. I mean, now they can trust that all the other 13 so far have been indeed the best.
I feel enlightened. And it's not, I mean, we should say like credited writers is not that simple on a TV show. Writers' rooms exist, all this sort of stuff. But yeah, this is a credited writer who doesn't show up before or again. So I'm trying to see if she's written anything else. Anyway, it's just not. It reminds me of not. I mean, it's leaps and bounds better, but like the character inconsistency kind of reminds me of Glee, and that like in every episode of Glee, it's like they just fucking rebooted every single character. No one acted truly consistently episode to episode. That show was maddening for me to watch for that reason. My So-Called Life is almost always the opposite of that, and so the fact that some people are acting a little
they're going in directions that like at least we haven't seen before, and it's not like it's the third episode. Like we are pretty deep in with these characters. Right. So, oh God. Okay, so you already talked about the fact that Angela rolls down and like delivers this monologue basically to Patty and Graham, who are just like staring in wonder at their teenage daughter who never talks to them. But she's basically she just needs somebody to talk to work through the fact that she doesn't actually want to go to see Rayanne at this.
Yeah, she wants an excuse. We should say that Rayanne is borrowing boots from Angela.
Oh.
And she's like, oh, so I can still use, and Angela's holding these like red boots. She's like, oh, so I can still use the boots or something like that. And which is a reversal, obviously, from like the first episode. And it's just something to keep an eye on, because this idea, we've talked about like dressing up as each other, swapping identities, all that sort of stuff. And so like keeping an eye on like Rayanne sort of absorbing some of Angela in return.
Wow, that's really nice. I completely missed that. But yeah, oh God, I'm excited to talk about her outfit. We're almost there.
It's a lot. It's a lot. This young lady, or not so young lady, I don't know, who wrote this episode,
Elizabeth Gill,
has no other. She has other credits, but nothing I've ever heard of. So
wow. Okay. So
and she's also an actress sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know what happened here, but anyway.
So when we go to the show, first of all, there's a fucking girl in sunglasses in the audience who I can't. It's so funny.
Wait, sorry. I want to rewind to even before Angela goes down to talk to Patty. Sorry, I forgot to talk about this.
Yeah.
We see Rand practicing with Amber a little.
Oh, did I? Yes, I missed that.
And she sounds great.
Unbelievable.
Here's a rule of television: if you see a rehearsal and it's great, that performance is never happening. So if you ever on a TV show see them like rehearsing a scene for a play or whatever, something disastrous is going to happen, and that play's never happened if they show you the rehearsal and it's good. So
yeah, and it's so great. They sound so great, and it's also like a nice thing, but that scene is actually really important too, because it ends with Rayanne saying, this is going to be the most amazing night of my life, which ties into exactly what Ricky was afraid of, right? That like Rayanne is somebody who goes hard, and that means that she hits hard too. And so she is just like, this is going to be the fucking best. And it is the exact opposite of the best.
Okay. And Ricky shows up with nervous laryngitis.
He's lost his voice on behalf of Rayanne.
It's because it's funny because like it's the kind of plot point where you're like, did this actor actually lose his voice and they're covering for it? But it doesn't sound like that to me.
No, it sounds like he's putting it on.
He's putting it on. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, what is happening here?
Well, there's probably like, do you think they were getting really deep on like...
They're like, he doesn't have a voice and she doesn't have a voice and like...
Right,
I don't know.
Something about voices. I don't know.
Maybe I don't like love this episode because there's just not enough Sharon and Brian in it. There's just like a very little bit of Sharon, and then like Brian shows up and like it's pretty cute because he's like...
Brian?
You asked me? I mean, basically Ricky does like it's just Brian sort of, right?
He does.
And he's like, what are you doing here? And Brian's like, you begged me to come, and he's like, oh, I was asking anyone, and Brian was like, that makes me feel great.
Yeah,
some emotional awareness of
you
Brian.
know, last week you were like, is it like we don't ship Brian and Ricky? And I have to say that I think that I can't place identity on anyone else, but watching this episode was like, I think Brian's bisexual, you know? Like he just is. I don't know that he'll ever. Well, the show ends in a few episodes, so. But like, I don't know that his character would have ever like what you know. But he's very comfortable with Ricky, and it does feel tender. It's not, and I think like I said a little bit of this last week. Like it doesn't feel like like Rayanne and Sharon have like a sexual energy between them. I don't get that between these two, but there is something that is like. I don't know. I could picture them like maybe kissing, you know? And Brian being like into it.
That's very cute.
So, yeah, I'm not the writer of the character, but I've decided that Brian is bisexual.
There's a very cute moment here, too, also where Ricky goes, excuse me, I have to pray. And like grabs.
Oh my God, grabs his cross.
Grabs his cross and like puts his head down. So good.
Oh, it's so good. And his.
Also, I said, my notes say Ricky shows and he looks so handsome. Which he does.
You wrote in your Amber Vallone voice.
He looks so handsome.
handsome.
Yeah.
One of my last notes is, oh no, Jordan is singing. Because like, listen, I have a lot of feelings about Jared Leto, even more about 30 Seconds to Mars. But let me tell you what my teenage heart did when this character who I already was swooning over got to a fucking microphone and sang and sounded good.
Sounds very good.
Woo! Telling you. Seeds for the future being laid. Seeds for the fucking future. It's just a lot, you know? Seeing anyone perform is intense, I think. And that's why Beatlemania.
So you're like sitting there and you're like, you're good. To Jared Leto.
Yes.
It's true. He's good.
He is good.
And obviously like they picked I Want to Be Sedated is a very good thematic, maybe a little too on the nose thematic song for an episode about like substance abuse and that sort of stuff. But I'm so uncool that this is definitely where I learned this song for the first time.
Me too.
Yeah,
Absolutely same. This is actually, well, whatever. I don't think music is super spoilery. So I will say that this show is definitely the first time I ever heard Buffalo Tom. Maybe not as surprising. And the first time that this is how I got into Violent Femmes.
Violent Femmes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which if you haven't watched the whole series, you'll see why very soon, as a matter of fact.
But not the first time you heard Cranberries.
Not the first time I heard Cranberries, no. So Rayanne totally fucks up. That's why Jordan was singing, because she loses her lines, and Brian and Ricky have this scene sort of with Rayanne, but Rayanne is mostly just like yelling and really, saying. Ricky's crying, and Brian is like, I think it'll be like, Brian's like panicked, like I think it'll be okay, and Ricky is like, no. This is something to worry about. Like, I know her, and I've been trying to. This was Ricky's biggest fear, bigger than probably Rayanne's fear of losing the lines up there. Ricky probably was more afraid, and it's happened. Do you have your best use of flannel yet?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't. But I just want to talk about flannel. That isn't my best use of flannel. But what if it's yours?
Is it what Patty's wearing?
Yeah.
It's not mine.
Okay, because there's some great flannel pajamas that Patty's wearing that did not get my pick either.
Patty has like 100 pairs of
Seriously?
flannel nightwear.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And she comes down in her beautiful flannel pajamas because Ricky has called the house to be like...
And she goes into like caring mom mode again, where she's just like, honey, like takes the phone, is like, Ricky,
what do you need?
Where are you?
Yep.
What is happening? Sort of thing. Yeah.
This is fucked up. Okay, I will tell you, if you haven't watched the episode and you're like, what is fucked up, Kristin? It is fucked up that Rayanne goes home and they know that Ricky is so fucking panicked and they unplug the phone overnight. It's not even like give her an hour or two to like decompress and then whatever, or like have Amber call Ricky. Like somebody do something. This is not okay. I'm very upset about it.
It's like when Rayanne like doesn't show up for the world dance. Like Rayanne just like is thoughtless sometimes, but but also Angela is behaving that way in this episode too.
That's
true.
What
I mean, like the way in which she doesn't show up for Rayanne like at the club, and then like I did want to talk about that really quickly because like it feeds into something that I have trouble with. Actually, you and I were talking about this before we started recording. This idea of like wanting someone to show up for you for something, but it's a really hard thing to ask for.
Yeah.
That is like one of the hardest things for me to ask for is like, I really need you to support me in this. I really need you to show up. And I'm so sad for Rayanne that she couldn't ask that of Angela, even though she really needed it. And I'm sad that Angela put her in that position where Angela couldn't see that, like, well, she could see, but she decided she knew that she needed to be there. And she decided to not be.
Yeah, I've had those experiences in my life too, because I am a person similarly who does not. I don't ask. I very, very rarely will ask. And so if you are that person and then you do ask and they do not show up, it is a blow that is like nothing else. It really, truly hurts. And I'm not saying that like it doesn't hurt if you ask somebody to show up and they don't show up. But if you're somebody, because I have that like in me where I can access it right now, that feeling of like, I never ask for anything. Like, how could you just not?
I know that feeling. All right, so Amba Valone has done, here's what she's done for Rayanne.
Yeah.
Unplug the phone, they ate cookie dough.
Mm-hmm.
That's what like a teenage friend does. And we've talked about this before throughout of like all the adults who aren't Patty behaving like teenagers.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so like eating raw cookie dough, like when you talk about like nourishing food sort of thing, you know what I mean? It's like eating raw cookie dough and turning off the phone. I'm like, okay, Amber. And Amber's like, I'm a damn good mom to Patty. And like, once again, it's complicated. Patty's made an assumption about what's going on with Rayanne. She's wrong. Rayanne was at home. She was safe. She was being thoughtless, but she was safe.
Mm-hmm.
So Patty's wrong, but she's not entirely wrong, you know?
Yeah. And
Amber's right, but she's not entirely right.
Right.
So, yeah.
Also, Amber reads Kurt Vonnegut.
Who knew?
That's fun. She's talking about this Caress,
which I thought, so I do this podcast about the TV show Lost.
Yes, I've heard of it.
And a couple weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago, someone wrote in with this like big email about the concept of the Caress that is from Vonnegut.
Yeah.
And which is this idea of like people whose lives are interconnected and like all this sort of stuff, and how like the Caress of the survivors on the island. And I was like, oh, I've literally never heard of this. Then I was watching this episode and I was like, oh, you definitely heard of it at least once before. Yeah.
Lost is a great example of that.
Yeah.
So right. Who's a good mother? Who is not? I mean, Patty is, I think, clearly a bit more nourishing than Amba, but it's complicated. And then Patty brings Rayanne to school.
Patty, much like Jordan Catalano, is at least giving Rayanne a ride to school. Is this your best use of flannel?
Yeah.
It's not mine, but I thought it might be yours. It's my second. It's my runner-up.
Yeah, because you've given, I believe, these gloves of Rayanne's.
I don't think we've talked about these gloves.
Oh,
did I?
Well, okay. So in the Buffalo Tom concert, you were like, I'm pretty fucking sure that Rayanne was wearing flannel gloves.
Yeah.
And I was like, I missed them.
Yeah.
You cannot miss them in this scene. But my award is just not just for the gloves. It's actually for the whole.
Is it flannel on flannel?
It's so Rayanne is wearing a beautiful flannel. Sure. Well, I will say that earlier. Well, whatever. We'll wait to see what your best use of flannel is. Rayanne is wearing.
It's not anything that anyone wears.
Okay, great. Oh, I wonder if I know what it is. Jordan wears a fantastic flannel to the frozen embryos argument scene.
Yes.
But Rayanne is wearing a equally gorgeous flannel over her flannel gloves, and I'm pretty sure that her scrunchie is also flannel. Wow. Not positive about that, but it is the flannel cuff of the shirt over the flannel glove that gets my award.
It's like the Texas tuxedo of flannel, which is this flannel on flannel situation. Yeah. It's hard to miss. It's great stuff. My best use of flannel. And once again, as we said before on this podcast, flannel also means plaid. I don't know if there's a kind of plaid. Actually, it's similar to this. It's called window pane. I'm showing you my dish towel. The Chase household dish towel is a checkered pattern. So when Patty is wiping the huge smear of chocolate sauce off Danielle's face, the dishcloth has a checked pattern that I'm going to go ahead and call my best use of flannel.
I thought I knew where you were going, and I didn't. I didn't even notice the dish towel.
What?
I thought, so they're in a piece of the kitchen we've never seen before at one point. It's like a booth. Sort of by the window, and the covering of the booth is a plaid of some kind.
It is. Their couch is plaid.
I know. It's a little less intensely plaid than the couch, but it is still plaid. So up until the last second there, I thought that's where you were going.
No,
also,
towel.
we spoke right through the place where we would play the jingle. So let's play the best use of flannel now.
My jaw is on the floor. That flannel is divine. It's so fucking special. The best use of flannel of this episode.
All right. So
They say they both care about Angela a lot. That's the one thing they have in common, right?
And Patty gets what Patty had been seeking.
Thanks for my life.
Thanks for my life.
Like my life.
Yeah.
And Patty says, "Call me Patty." If we're in this,
Call me Patty.
Caress together.
So this my mom, I think everybody knows this, really struggled with me coming out being gay, right? So this is a little different. But the idea that you can bond to somebody because you both have a shared interest is something that like really, that was like the beginning for my mom and I, was like when she saw that my girlfriend truly cared about me, she like, it was like the crack, you know, that like then shattered the whole thing, and in a good way. But that like rang really true to me, of like, this is a really powerful bond to have, even if they don't see eye to eye.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rayanne's trying to like get, turn her note in, because there are laws. There are state laws about being late to school.
Oh my God.
And then there's a scene where Ricky is like yelling at her in the hallway, and it is incredible because like for a number of reasons. But Ricky, who, yes, he dresses in a certain way, but he had that like dance the world dance, but there's also a lot of ways in which Ricky like tries to not make any kind of spectacle of himself, like tries to not stick his head up and get noticed. So like for him, like if Rayanne had been screaming in the hallway, but like for Ricky to be screaming in the middle of the high school hallway about like how scared and upset he was about, his out of fear for her, is an incredibly powerful moment.
It really is. And you see everybody stop in the hallway and look, and he keeps not only screaming, but he like grabs her arm. He is like so upset. And I can understand why. I mean, he literally thought that she was dead. Like he had no idea where she was.
Yep.
So we get a new location.
It says new location.
Yeah.
In my note. Yeah.
It's very exciting. They even acknowledge it kind of in the, like, Angela's like, I've never been out here before. I'm like, we've never been out here before.
How did you find her? I don't know. Anyway, yes. Welcome to the fire escape of this high school.
Could never have gone out on a fire escape at my school. Literally ever.
We didn't have fire escapes in my school. I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think that's true for me too. But then how do you get out in a fire?
How tall was your school?
I guess
building?
only 2 floors.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, good
They're
luck.
on the fire
Guilderland
escape.
High School.
Yeah. Rayanne says something really poignant. She's talking to Angela. This is a really good conversation.
Yeah.
As much as they don't like some aspects of this episode, it's a really good conversation. And Rayanne says like I can't stand these looks. Like it's this idea of shame. That like Rayanne has like joked off and brushed off and whatever, but this idea that like you look at me differently now. You used to come to me for advice.
Yeah.
And now you look at me like I'm less than in some way, and I can't stand it. And it really upsets me.
Yeah.
And this idea of like, I've had these conversations with friends where something's changed in your friendship, but you both want to be, you don't want to like not be friends anymore, but it's almost harder to like downgrade a friendship than to end a friendship, right? Not almost, it's definitely harder.
It is definitely. I don't think I've ever been successful at that, as a matter of fact.
I've tried.
It's very, very difficult.
And to do it like consciously rather than like what we do now often, which is just like kind of ghosting someone a little bit,
Right.
But to do it like actively, to be like, our friendship's changed.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same again. I mean, that's just true.
Yeah. And I think, I haven't had that experience in a bit, though I have had it as like an adult person.
Yeah.
But one of the first experiences of that in my life was a friendship that I had that began in high school. So I was 16. And when I look back on the fact, because it was like a 15-year friendship that just ended hard stop, but it was sort of it was ending for years because we didn't have the tools at that point in our lives to be able to say, and I'm not talking about 16, I'm talking about like before I turned 30. So like I'm an adult person, and I didn't have the tools even then to know how to say, nor did he, to be able to say like, hey, what we had doesn't exist anymore, but I still care about you and like whatever, like how do we find this new place? And so it was just over and that was it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very difficult to be able to downgrade.
And we talked about this. I think this is what, I don't know, it's hard to pick what this show does best. But as I told you, the show starts with this like friendship breakup. between Sharon and Angela, and they found a way to reforge their connection and change it and make it different. But this idea of, because Angela and Rayanne are both like upset, it's more upsetting on many levels than like whatever's going on with Jordan and Angela. You know what I mean? This connection. I think it's profound. I think it's profound what this show does with friendships in general, female friendships maybe even specifically. And this scene is incredible. Ricky joins them, like sort of a little contrite for the screaming, but like, you know, she kind of deserved it. You know, so.
Yeah. And this, we talked a little bit last week too about like the physical intimacy at this age in friendships. Like we see more of that, of like this like closeness, this physical closeness between Rayanne and Angela. And of course, it's not as marked, I guess, between Ricky and Rayanne because we've seen it so much. But we haven't really seen Angela hold Rayanne the way that she holds Rayanne in this scene on the fire escape. So. Yeah, they come together and then they decide to go to the movies.
This episode would be very like episode of the week if it ended on the fire escape.
Yes.
And the moral arcs of who's right and who's wrong would be much clearer if that's where it ends.
Yeah.
But the fact that it ends in this line with Rayanne taking this like, you know, swig of beer from a stranger complicates everything we've just watched for the last hour, and that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
So
Also, Jordan is part Italian, we learn, which I guess is
Catalano. Of course, Catalano.
Yeah.
I would have loved to meet Jordan's family in season 2. Spoiler: we never meet his family.
Yeah.
And do you have a Sesame Street crush?
Probably Maria.
I was gonna say Maria too.
Yeah, I mean Maria's like got to be one of the more common crushes.
Yeah,
Maria's.
I mean, I'm straight, but like Maria.
Yeah,
I was like, it's not Louise. I was like, it's Maria.
Right? Yeah, she's pretty awesome. If you are not familiar with Sesame Street of the 90s, 80s, I guess actually.
80s, yeah.
Maria.
Google Maria
could be a root.
I'm gonna do it right now because like maybe she's not, but I think
she definitely is, and it's more than just like because like she's physically beautiful, sure, but she's just like. I just feel like she was like sassy and like fucking powerful and like am I just laying things on Maria?
So I want to show you Maria as like probably we remember her, which is like this.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So she was on the show for 44 years.
Holy shit.
So like this is what she looked like when she left, right?
Oh my God, Maria.
Still together, still like looking great. But yeah, like
44
years on Sesame Street. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Way to go, babe. So yeah, if you know Maria in her older, oh my goodness. If you know Maria in her,
Maria.
Yeah, Maria absolutely is on Sesame Street with zero bra.
Zero bra. That's like early 80s Maria right there.
That's awesome. Anyway, yeah, Maria. If you only know Maria from the later years, I need you to just like Google. Do you know what we're talking about? I appreciate her at all years.
Sure,
I'm just saying.
but like right. Some of our listeners, if you're younger, you may not be. You may not have the same picture in your head.
Yeah.
As I wonder if 44 years. So when did Sesame Street start? That was with us, right? Or no? Did it precede us? Late 70s? Like was it new when we watched it as kids? Look it up. I have something to talk about actually very, very briefly while you do your Joanna Googling, which is
1969.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so it had been around for quite some time by the time we came to it.
Yeah.
So Angela has many moments that really stick with me. And one of them is in this scene. And it's really more of a Claire Danes moment than an Angela moment, I guess, or I don't know how you draw that line. But it's when Rayanne is like, Luis, I love, from Sesame Street. And Angela is going to laugh. And she, instead of laughing, she screams.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's great.
Just amazing. And you can tell, of course, like this is not, they didn't say like, hey, Claire, you should scream. It's like she's just like overcome by laughter, and it's so brilliant.
Oh, it's so good. It's so delightful.
Yeah, and then Rayanne does a beautiful rendition of Sesame Street and takes a swig. from the bottle, which is what you said. And it complicates everything that we've seen.
Grinds up on some like square dudes.
The people in line for this movie, it's like literally all dudes in their early 30s and then Ricky, Rayanne, and Angela.
Yeah. I'm fascinated to know what movie they're going to go see.
Right? They're talking about James Dean at some point.
Oh, yeah. So they're probably going to go see like Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah.
Like that's right. A lot of second run theater stuff in this town. Bicycle Thief, Rebel Without a Cause.
Pittsburgh seems like the kind of place that would have a great artsy theater.
Yeah.
Albany had a
they're
pretty
not gonna
good.
they're gonna see Rebel Without a Cause. They're not gonna see East of Eden. They're not gonna see Giant. And that's, I think, it for James Dean movies, actually. I think he only made 3, maybe 4.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that like just has no idea about James Dean except for like James Dean, like who he is, what he looks like.
Yeah, I think he made 3
So
movies.
I just assumed he was in a million.
Might be forgetting one, but I think that's right. East of Eden, Giant, and Rebel Without a Cause, and then he died. Do you want to know Maria's real name?
I just thought it was Maria.
It's not.
That's upsetting.
It's Sonia Manzano.
Sonia Manzano.
And she started playing Maria on Sesame Street in 1971.
Wow.
And left in 2015.
And Maria and Luis were a couple.
Oh, were they?
On the show? Well, I'm asking because I remember them as a couple. Like, but I'm just wondering, like, how long Luis was on the show.
Okay, wait. More information.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's some Sesame Street trivia for us. Okay. Starting as a teenager and one of the first Latinas on television, Maria was loosely based upon her portrayal of Manzano's life. Maria was married to Luis, co-owned the Fix-It shop with him, and had a daughter named Gabby.
Oh, yeah. Because I think there was a whole, like, spoilers for Sesame Street, but there's something, or maybe it wasn't Luis. Somebody died.
Oh, they got married in 1988. So, like, she starts on the show. This is like a whole narrative arc. Like, she starts in 1971 as a teenager. In 1988, Luis and Maria get married.
Wow.
And then their daughter is born in 1989 on Sesame Street. I don't remember I remember, like, the adults being around, but I don't remember there being, like, a whole
story.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they, like, had a wedding episode of Sesame Street. Gonna look it up now.
Well, I feel like there was an episode of Sesame Street after I was older, but I remember like it dealt with the loss of, and maybe it was, what was the guy's name? It wasn't Mr. Cooper, was it? But because hanging with Mr. Cooper, but wasn't there like my fucking God. Okay, so Joanna is holding up a photo of Luis and Maria at their wedding, who their officiant is Big Bird.
Yeah, Big Bird is the officiant of Luis and Maria's.
It's a beautiful photo.
It's gorgeous. Maria looks amazing.
And it was all fictitious. Like these characters, they were just characters and the characters got married. It was like a little Sesame Street soap opera.
Like soap opera, yeah.
Holy shit.
This is like a freaking Luke and Laura. It's amazing. Oh my God, there's like a bigger, but like, this is crazy.
Wow.
Who knew? Anyway, sorry. This is a podcast now about Sesame Street.
Yeah.
My so-called Sesame Street.
So yeah, I don't know. I think we did it. I think we talked about the episode. It's not our favorite episode, but it's an important episode for a variety of reasons. And I guess we'll see what happens next. Oh my God. The next episode is called So-Called Angels. And if you know, you know. It's a fucking doozy.
It's a holiday episode.
It is. Because it's the holidays. I'm here at Joanna's house right now. There's garland on the staircase. There's a Christmas tree behind me, all lit up.
There's a wreath on the door.
Oh, did I miss the wreath on the
wreath.
door? I got distracted by
the 3 points of greenery.
So yeah, we'll be back next week with that special holiday episode.
And until then, read my lips, Kristin.
Oh my God. Wait, do you want to tell people where they can find you, or they already know already?
You can find me on VeryFair.com often. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Wrote This. You can hear me talk about Star Wars, and Kristin joining me talking about Star Wars on the Storm podcast. Kristin is extremely delightful in a segment on the Storm podcast right now where she tells me everything she knows about Star Wars without having actually seen Star Wars. You'll be so dazzled by what Kristin doesn't know about Star Wars. You can hear me talking about award season. I'm watching all these award season movies. You can hear me talk about all of that on Little Gold Men. Or you can hear me talking about Baby Yoda and The Mandalorian on the Still Watching podcast.
Oh my God, I've watched so many memes of Baby Yoda.
But you haven't seen actual episode. Kristin sent me a text the other day with that meme of Baby Yoda, or the shot of Baby Yoda with a drinking bone broth. But like people are using it as like a sort of Kermit sipping tea sort of thing. And Kristin's like, this isn't real. And I can definitely see how, like, from your perspective, you're like, oh, someone has manipulated an image of Baby Yoda drinking tea. And I'm like, no, that's real. It's real.
The meme that I've been watching on repeat is the playing the music in the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Space shuttle.
Well, that's why a debate we've been having on the Still Watching podcast about The Mandalorian is whether or not Baby Yoda is a cat or a dog. And I said from the jump that Baby Yoda is a cat.
That was very cat-like.
And then
behavior.
the switch on the space shuttle move is pure cat.
I mean, that is 100% cat. Yeah.
That like, don't do it. And
and they're like, boop, that one last time.
Yeah.
And you can find us at Boiler Room Cast on all the platforms. And you can write us all of the emails that you'd like to, because we're going to be doing a mailbag episode pretty soon, actually. A special one for our Kickstarter supporters.
That's right.
So, and I always do this, Joanna, for the buffering supporters. I send the mailbag to the supporters. So if you support our Kickstarter, you'll get it. But if you send an email and it's included, I'll also send you the link to the episode so that you can, because that's not fair. We can't answer your email and not have you hear it, which, should encourage you to write even if you were not a supporter, because if we answer you, you'll get it.
So what's that email address again?
boilerroomcast@gmail.com.
You're good.
Okay, this is. I'm gonna nail this exit, I think, because I can watch Joanna, and it was the only time that I'll be able to do this ever. Are you covering your mouth?
That'd be so funny. It didn't occur to me, but maybe I should.
Go now. Go. Ah! Oh my God, I've never stared into anyone's eyes, even like my wife's.
No,
that intensely.
that was a pretty solid connection. All right. Well, until next time.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
I've got a homicide in Springfield's North Woods by mile marker 16.
You are now entering Springfield. Where's the body?
Off the side of the ditch down there. You know, surrounded by all this crime scene tape.
Hello? Am I dead?
My name is John. I'm the new forensic pathologist. I can see you, and that's how we'll figure out how you were murdered.
That means ghosts are real!
Since then, I've noted multiple additional missing case files and even missing bodies.
Let's say I believe you came across some record-keeping discrepancies and a string of deaths. You're not an investigator, Jonathan. Stop trying to be one.
After everything I've discovered, I just need to know why. What happened in Springfield?
Going somewhere, Dr. Spacer?
Listen to How I Died, a full-cast police and medical procedural podcast with over 40 episodes already available. Then, tune into Season 4 of How I Died, releasing now on all podcast apps.
From the darkest corners of our imagination comes a game show that's more ridiculous than terrifying. Welcome to Tickled to Death, the horror comedy game show where nothing is sacred, everything's a little unhinged, and the only thing more cursed than the questions are the jokes. I'm Roz Hernandez, your fearless host, and each week I'll be leading a brave group of guests through twisted horror trivia, improv games, and enough sarcastic banter to make you question all your life's choices. So come for the screams, stay for the snark. Listen to Tickled to Death wherever you get your podcasts, and hit follow unless you want the show to follow you. In the meantime, don't get tickled to death.